Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cornwell Garage. If you're new here, my name is Ben Cornwell. Last week we worked on repairing the wiring in the doors of this 4Runner. Turned out to be a bad door control module. We also added in Deutsch connectors so that I could quickly disconnect these doors for the summer, because I either want to run no door or half door all summer long. So what I did is I got these junkyard gems. I got both of these for 50 bucks. It has the glass, it has the handles, pretty good deal. It has the latch mechanism, all of that. Oh yeah, it does. Just making sure. Now we're gonna jump right into taking the doors off the 4Runner. I'm going to install these and I'm gonna start mocking up and see where I wanna cut. I haven't made half doors before, but the overall goal here is to have a handle on the top back of the door. So when you're getting out, it's comfortable, it's right about here. And then I want a cup holder a little bit farther forward on the top of this door after we've cut it down. So let's get going. Pretty sure I'm the first one to take these off, so I mean, that's a good sign. Body line looks pretty decent, actually. Okay, I got both of these camo doors on. This one didn't fit very well. It's got a dent here, and I noticed a dent here. So what I ended up doing is I added a couple washers underneath this bottom hinge, and it opened it up enough that this all has better clearance. And you know what? It's gonna fit plenty good enough for a half door. So I'm gonna strip all the guts out of these, and then we'll start by marking and figuring out how we're gonna cut them. Okay. I've got all my stuff off, it's cleaned up. I like how the door's fitting pretty decently. So I'm gonna start marking out about where I think I'm gonna cut. I think I've decided that I want this body line right here to probably just be the bottom. It's a straight line, and it's also, I don't have to get it perfect all the way across because I've got this body line. So I'll just follow that and cut it. So I just need to figure out this side, how far forward I want to go and when I want to come up and all that. So I'll just start in the back. I know I don't really want to come back behind this pillar because I don't want to figure out the structural deal of that. So if I come in front of it, I've got 3 3/8 exactly. So then we're going to come down to this handle, and there's this little indent here for where the handle went. And 3 3/8 is pretty close to the edge, but not all the way. So I'm going to put a crow's foot right there. So I'm going to have to fill in a little bit of this somehow. Not the end of the world, but the rest of it will all be just flat and easy-ish. But what I'll do is I'll just get a little flat piece and just tack it in there so I can have a flat all the way down. It'll look all right. Or plans will change because who knows. Might as well come as far down as I can because we can decide later on when we're going to cut and do an angle forward. wavy anyway. I think I might as well come down just below the lock, and then maybe my handle that I want is going to be like right about here. That might look nice. So if I come in 9.5 and then make my angle to come up, I should leave room for that little bar that needs to come in and out right here. That looks pretty fun. I like it. So I kind of like that. I might be able to put the cup holder right about here. And then I have those 12-inch limit straps that I destroyed on accident because I left this thing up on jack stands all weekend. So I'm kind of thinking I'll bolt it to that strap right here, about on top, with a 1/2-inch bolt, and then bolt it back. Well, I won't bolt it back here. I'll put a longer 1/2-inch bolt in there, drill a hole through it, and then put the linkage to it. And then you just grab that big pull strap, pull it up, and it'll actuate the door mechanism right here. But I think it might look pretty nice that way. I don't see why not. I'm thinking I can get away with more right here. I don't know if I want that. I like this back quite a bit, but I wonder if I made this less steep. From here up. I might just throw a piece of tape on and see how it looks. Because I said I needed 9.5, so if I just do the minimum, that's already marked there. Just to have a little more visibility. I love seeing, and I think I'm doing this only because I love seeing the tire out the window or the door. Because we have a Jeep too, and when we take the doors off of it, it's pretty fun. And with less of a long slope up here will look better, but back here I think it'll be more functional just because it'll be easier to get to and more out of the way when you grab your handle and open up the door. I've seen a lot of guys move these down to like right here. That's pretty trick. I'm not doing that though. That's a pretty cool idea, and I've seen a couple of them executed really well. But, this door in particular, I got like 4 dents out of already, and I'm not feeling confident that it's a great candidate for that type of door handle. I don't want to fight with this too much. That's why I kind of came up with that strap idea. It's a big piece to grab onto. And it should be pretty easy. I kind of want as much door out of here as I can. I think this will look nice. So, I think I'm gonna send it with this. Might chew on it for a little while. If I change my mind, maybe it'll end up in between here, but I think this is gonna look pretty good. Okay, so it's the next morning. I've been chewing on the idea of how this is gonna look. I think it's gonna be fine. I do like that this is a little bit farther forward, as much forward as I can, and it still gives me room for that bar, which is, it's like a stop basically, so it won't let the door keep going farther out. So it's got room to come in to the door when it's closed, and I like that I've got that room, like I said. The linkage is in here. It looks like this is gonna work with this strap here. Now I'm thinking one will go up here and one will go down here, because if I pull on it, it just has to go straight. But if I put one down here, somehow it's all gonna have to line up perfectly and correctly to pull that linkage, and I think it's just gonna be a little bit too much. But if it just is straight right here, all I have to do is grab it right here and go this way, and it doesn't take much to open up the door, so I think that'll work great. But Lord knows things will change. But I'm gonna get right into cutting this door. I have a pretty cool idea after I've got this welded for what I want to do with the door, and I'll let you guys in on that here very soon. Okay, so I got this door panel piece off, and I definitely spent too much time thinking about the front, not enough about the back. This cut right here is so close to this. I'm not sure how I'm gonna make it work. So if you guys are doing this, maybe consider just moving this in about 1/2 inch or 1 inch and give yourself a little bit more space off this whole mechanism. Nevertheless, I'm gonna work through it and figure out how to make it work. I'm not too worried about it, but we'll get it figured, because this is even almost behind this channel right here. So at least the channel, maybe I can hit down a little bit and then we'll put a flat piece on. But it's like right on this guy. So I might even have to move it out myself and add in a piece. But that's probably not gonna look very good, so I'm gonna try to figure something out. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just cut right off this line and come straight down. That would give us the clearance. That looks pretty decent. All right, so I've got both doors cut. And like I said, I feel like I should have kept the inch out here to give me more room on this linkage down here. Get you guys a good shot. So what I'm gonna have to do is add in 1 inch straight all the way down right here, so I can get a little bit of something to get onto this linkage to attach to my door handle, which is gonna be a strap. Now on the other side, I went a little bit differently, kept the inch on both sides. But that also means, let's get you guys a good view, then I'm gonna have to deal with this right here and also here. So I'm not sure which side's gonna be less work, but what I'm gonna do right now and for the rest of the day is fill these in so it's one solid panel on both sides. Okay, so what I did here is, instead of trying to cut a piece out of here, like I was thinking in my head, what I'm gonna do is just cut this off, because this edge already matches, and put this back on the door, because I think this is gonna be the path of the least resistance. I'll just tack this and get this back on the door, and then I'll steal something from out here to fill in these gaps again, because I'll probably never get this line exactly right over here, and then also get a nice flat straight edge on the other side of it. So I may as well just cut my loss, go backwards a little bit, and add this back, and then put in the new material from over here, just like on the other side. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about doing your own half doors, I would look at some other pictures. What I've seen guys do after I looked it up is, instead of going straight down right here, they just did a straight angle from right here over to the bottom, wherever they were gonna do it. That's probably the smarter way to do it. That's not the way that I did it. So I'm going to just keep working and fix with what I got and keep going forward. At the end, these are half doors and they were 50 bucks. So I think it's gonna look kind of cool. I think I'm gonna probably not clean up these edges too much, or I will, or the welds, I mean. I know like on out here, I want to leave the welds exposed. It's just gonna be a bunch of stitch welding, I think, but I think it'll look cool. So I'm going to cut this off, clean this with the cookie wheel. Oh, let's talk about that real quick. There we go. It's kind of like this blue plasticky sponge. It's pretty hard. And what it does is it takes the paint off and leaves the metal. I kind of played around with it a little bit right here. So I'm gonna do that rather than trying to grind off this super thin paint with like a sanding disc or a flapper. I'm gonna use this instead to keep as much metal as I have, or I can, on this door for welding it back together. Okay, I just took this out. So I'm gonna put this guy up here. And I'm doing this one at a time. I could probably do it faster some other way. Oh look, I don't even have to get crazy with it. What I'm gonna do is cut here, roughly with the saw. And then I'm gonna place this piece behind, trace it, and put it in. And then I'll move up to this guy. All right, so I've got the patchwork done. The driver door turned out pretty all right. Adding in that 1 inch ended up being quite a bit of work, and then also cutting out where the handle and the keyhole was and adding in that was quite a bit of work. Here is the result. Now, you might not be able to see it, but there's a, I mean, it buckles right here, buckles right here, buckles right there, and I think it's from the heat. And then this is where the handle was. Overall, when I take all the paint off to paint or do something else with these doors, it's gonna look all right. You can see some waves in there. Overall, I'm not too disappointed with the first time ever working with sheet metal like this. The whole tacking and getting that down was a pain in the butt. Here's the passenger door. Heck of a lot better. Try to get you guys a good shot. Now there is just a little bit of distortion that I can feel with my hand right about here. This side actually turned out pretty good. This one's pretty good. And the keyhole right here, there's a big old wave. Oh well, I'm still just half towards. This isn't like fine body work. But if any of you guys work in the automotive or body work industry, leave a couple comments with some pointers or some tips that I can use to get better at this. I was really excited to try this out because I never have. I always like trying and learning new things. So if you guys have anything you want to educate me on, please leave a comment. Next step is going to be working on getting a structure in here, because as you can see, there's nothing in here now that the door is out. So what I'm going to do is get some angle iron, go from here over to here and point it that way. Get angle iron, go from here over to here, point it this way, and then we'll bit one that goes across here and across here. And then that'll give us a nice structure for the flat plate on the door, because our cup holder is going to sit roughly right about here, and then our handle will be over here. I don't think we need to add structure up in here. It's close enough. You can see that it's not flexing a lot when I pull on it, but it is down here. So if we lock it down here, up in here, it'll be fine. And what we're using is some 12 gauge steel. It's a fair amount thicker than the door. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want more structure added, and also because I'm sending a cup holder down through the top, and I want this to still be pretty rigid and not be as thin as the door. The door thickness was like 0.040. It was pretty thin. And then 12 gauge, which I bought. I'm gonna check my handy dandy deal here on the welder. 12 gauge is 0.1, so it's almost double. And I was welding at 24, but in reality, that's 20 gauge steel on the doors that came to factory. So I'm going to start measuring and cutting, and we'll start adding in some structure to this door. Once I've got structure in the door, I'll peel these doors off, get the 4runner out, and then we'll just work on the doors by themselves out here in the garage, so I don't have to get any weld spatter on the seats or the interior of this runner. Okay, for our flat area, because we're going to start on this outside, because this is the nicest, flattest, straightest cut on this door. Backside, definitely micrometer. We've got 22 pretty much on the dot. And since this is 1-inch angle iron, what I'm gonna do is go 1 inch less than that, so that there's a 1/2 inch on the front and the back. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I don't want this seam to perfectly line up with the back side of the angle iron of this cross piece. I want it to be in the center of that angle iron. So for example, I could set it up in the angle iron and set it like right here, but I want it to set it back about here so that there's a little bit of room for error. So when this plate gets landed on there, I can move it back and forth, and there's still that structure there, rather than if maybe I missed this support piece here. I'd much prefer to have it sit halfway on there. So since it's 22, we're gonna cut two 21s, get them about a 1/2 inch off each side. And then what we'll do is we'll tack it into the door and then tack in the short pieces. Should be good to go. Okay, I've got my piece ready. I like where it fits, nice and straight along this. I did notice when I switched to the other side, I'm going to have to trim this lip off so that I can get it to lay flat. I'm going to tack this guy in and then move to that side and grind this lip off, and then we'll tack it through here, all the way through here and through here, and then get our cross members across here, and it'll be plenty strong enough. I got my wiring tucked up in the front of this door, and I got a welding glove across it, so it should be safe. Should probably check this. And I think I'm still on the settings for 24 gauge, and I turned the inch per minutes down. All right, I've got this tacked just about all the way through. There's some open spots, but once I lay the flat piece on top, it's also gonna get tacked to this door and the metal. It's all gonna kind of melt together. So my next step now is I'm gonna chop off this little lip right here so I can get this angle iron in flat. Okay, now that we got some structure welded in the door, I flapper wheeled the top of this, got it flat, feeling by hand. We're gonna use some cardboard. I'm gonna tap out a template right here for the bottom piece, and I'm gonna start working my way up from the bottom to the top, just kind of like a roof. So I got a piece cut for this front part right here, and admittedly I got really sick and I put this project down for a couple weeks. Let me get down here. There we go. And now I got to pick it back up, but we'll get back into it. I need to get these doors done. These are taking a lot more time and effort than I thought, but I think this is going to be super rewarding. And I'm pretty excited. So this one is gonna have to have this weird little angle kind of inward, because this cut right here could have been better and probably needed to be farther up and out. Oh well. It'll be pretty easy to the eye to see that, you know, I've got this kind of off-kilter piece, but oh well. Next piece, I'm gonna try to hide some of that on the bottom. So we'll get these two pieces done right now, and then we will shift gears to the back and start working on figuring out how to make that limit strap my handle, and bending and creating some linkage and figuring that all out. I've got a red rag in here to cover up all my electrical, so theoretically if it gets a little pop or a little bit of something, it should not be damaged at all. Because we did do quite a bit of work just fixing the wiring on this. So we don't want to go backwards on any of that. So I just realized I haven't cookie wheeled or cleaned up the metal over here. So I'm gonna get that done and then set you guys up. And we're gonna knock this out today. Okay, so I'm all set and ready. I've got this piece cut out. Admittedly, I didn't do a good job on this cut either. It's not far enough out this way, so I'm going to have to use some heat and persuasion to bend from here down inward a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll weld this entire chunk here, little corner here, plenty up here, and then I've got my, it's a little blowtorch. I'm just gonna get this good and hot, and then use maybe some big chunk of metal and kind of just push in, or use my hammer and persuade it a little bit and just get it the last little bit way in, and I'll weld to the bottom and up the side, make it look nice. So I was real cautious right here, and I just took one blade off the bottom. Look how nice that looks. Okay, so when I was cutting this piece out, from here to here, I accidentally plunged this blade into my material where I didn't want it, but I didn't get this angle perfectly right. So what I'm gonna do is weld it up here, here on the side, because it worked really good, and then use that ball peen and move this metal down to the door, since I can't bring the door up to it. So it ended up, it's going to benefit me. And then I'll just fill this slit in with weld. I mean, I'm going to leave all this welding exposed because I think it's pretty neat, and I want to show off how much effort and time I put into this. So I think everybody or other people are going to appreciate it too. Okay, so this strap, I want roughly like this, with some bend about right there. So I'm going to do about 2 3/8 back, and then this is about 4, so I'm going to come into, I'm going to drill a hole for that 1/2 inch bolt. Boop. 2 3/8. So right about there. Anyway, our 1/2 inch hole's done. I gotta get this tapped out, and I'll get it cut out, and then we'll be right back. Weld this in. I'll have to adjust this linkage, and I'll show you guys my keep it simple stupid idea for attaching this strap to here. I think it'll work just fine. All right, we're back. I've got this piece. My cut's not completely perfect, but it's enough that I think I can push this in and weld it just fine, which I'm excited about, because I won't have to do any heating and beating on it. Okay, so now what I want to go over is how I'm going to make this linkage work. And what I have is the piece from the interior door handle, I believe. And this right here is my release and what I'm going to be using. And what I'm going to do is put a zigzag right here and put it back over to the middle, and then another zigzag to come straight out through the center of the door. That's what I'd like. And what I'm doing here is I want to put this zigzag just out from my clasp here because I need this chunk to stay straight so that the clasp easily gets to clip back in and all that. That's a pretty healthy one. Let's see. And now I'm thinking maybe about there is going to get us halfway. And you can see, just got my zigzag. It's fairly flat. So now I need to figure out and clip it back in again, roughly where this thing's coming straight out at, so I can put a hole in my plate. We'll say 1 7/8. And then up from the bottom, 2 inches. That's nice. I like it. Wow, big old empty garage. Cool. I am gonna clean up because it's a mess of metal. I'll get this white table set up and then we're gonna go over next step with these doors to get them all wrapped up. All right, so here's the idea for the rest of the door. I've got this cup and then I went and got myself a 3 1/4 inch hole dozer, which is the exact size of this cup. And when these doors are back and on, I'm gonna kind of just see where it's ergonomically like the most comfortable. Right around in here. Let's pick this up for you guys. And it's just gonna drop straight down and in. And I accidentally bought 6, so if they get beat up or disgusting or something, I don't know, we'll just replace it. And I've got the steel on the outside to keep this whole thing together. So it's gonna get pretty close and go through most of the angle iron that's in there. But it's also still gonna have its structure, so I'm not too worried about that. Plus with the cup in there, it's still gonna be having contact all the way around and holding things. Other than that, I've got a couple Amazon special Ford 90s truck mirrors. And these simply, you just drill a hole through the outside, insert a plastic insert, and then run the screw through. And I'm gonna put it somewhere right about up in there. And you might be thinking, well, that's a huge, big old mirror, it's probably gonna rip off. And I was like, well, that might be true. But I'm also gonna see more than double what I am with the factory power mirrors that I have on it. So on the trail and out in the woods, this is gonna be super nice for backing up and being safe and being aware of my surrounding. And these, I will put a link for. They're pretty decent. I mean, it's a cheap Chinese mirror. Like this would not last if this was a full-time on the rig deal. But I think they were like 45 bucks shipped for a pair of these. With all the hardware, figured big whoop. So there's that. And then for the last bit of my idea on these doors, I do not want to pay to have these paint matched or have them go over my body work. It's not the best. It works really well. What I'm going to do is sand all this up, get it nice and shiny on the top and the outside. I'll use a cookie wheel for the outside so I'm not getting into the metal. And I'm going to leave this whole outside bare metal. And the idea is I'm going to start tagging it with stickers, and I'm going to encourage you guys as well to either send me a sticker, which I'll put a P.O. box address up right now, and send me a sticker that you'd like to see on this rig, and I'll put it on there for you. My next big trail run is in September, pretty far out, in Moab. But if you want to see your sticker on this rig in that video in Moab, shoot me a sticker in the mail and I'll put it on there for you. Or if you see me out in the wild, and even if I'm not there, feel free to sticker this door anywhere. Inside, top, outside. Here if you can get it to work, I don't care. But the rest of the door, like right on the inside, and right here in the sills, on right this, like the lock side right here, and then also this big flat spot. I'm gonna go over it with some like triple-aught steel wool, primer it, and then shoot black on it. And then I also forgot, to keep this all from rusting, I bought a couple cans of clear coat. So I'll get the outside of the door to clear metal and then shoot clear coat over it. And that should also help keep the stickers on there. So what I'm gonna do is probably get my die grinder out and my sander and get all these little dingleberries and stuff off. I'll barely go over this edge so it's not a sharp edge. I'll go over like this one right here, this over here. I'll hit some of this cut metal, round it off nice, and then I'll start cleaning this, because my last step will probably be to cookie wheel the outside. So if there's any overspray, I'll just cookie wheel it off, no big deal. And then finally just clear coat the whole thing. So I won't have to worry about taping off anything really. Okay, so these doors are stripped down to bare metal. They look pretty cool. I'm enjoying the look so far. And while I had some buddies over yesterday, my friend Paul had a really good idea. And he said, why don't you paint this black as well above this blue tape and break it up a little bit? Because if you have this silver going up towards the door and next to the black trim and the brown paint, it's gonna look a little goofy. And I think he's right. I think these are half doors, and if I have the top half black, it'll just look like black trim up top. And then when it's open, you're gonna realize that it's still part of the door. So I'm gonna take that idea and run with it. I got some more paint, and I'm gonna finish up this. The painting is done. I put a clear coat on these. Just wanted to show you guys the final result. Came out nice. I like the shine, and check this out. Here's a close up. Now that gold color, I do believe, is brazing from the factory when they welded these doors together. And I did my best to leave it at every single corner, since I did paint this entire top black. And I thought it was just kind of a nice little fun touch to see some manufacturing of this vehicle or the doors way back in the day. So I'm going to go get the 4Runner, pull it in here, and we are going to put these doors on, install the straps for the handle, and then we will cut a hole in both doors with this bulldozer I picked up and install our cup holders. And then we'll have to talk mirrors. I think I might be changing my mind. All right, so the idea is it's gonna go through this big hole, and I'm gonna drill another hole off to the side, and the wire is gonna loop through, come back, and I'll just fold it in on itself, and that way it'll just hold this because I'm trying to keep it simple again. I'm trying to think of the simplest way to attach this linkage, and that is it. So I'll drill about this linkage size hole right about here, tip my finger. So it'll come through, wrap around, loop back, call it good. I also want it to be far enough away from the door that I can like take this off. This needs to be serviceable just like anything because everything breaks. That's my experience. So I'll get these holes drilled, and I'll get you guys a nice close up, and we'll get these handles on, the strap handles, I guess we'll call them. And then we gotta blow some holes in the door and hope that I don't take out too much angle iron. It looks like the outsides and a little bit of the top will stay, but since it's all well together, I think it's gonna be good. Got our little hole drilled that I talked about, and what I'd like to do is probably put, oh, I need a tape measure, because everything needs to look nice and uniform. All right, we'll use a pinky finger. Well, we'll say my last wrinkle. First one on the, right about there. It's right about there. I want to start and put a loop. These have a nice round edge, so I'm thinking that'll be good. So I'm gonna go on the outside of that mark. About there. Damn. Take some more off. With the dikes. It's not bending that easy. Ooh, just had to put a little oomph into it apparently. So this would be the outside. Yep. And then I'm thinking about that much. But now I've got to get it through that hole. Okay. Now I don't want too much left back here. So I'm going to cut the last of that in half. Little twist. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Got some grade 8 hardware. Let's put that on right now. It doesn't seem to take a lot of work. And here I'm not going to do any direction or anything, it's just done. It works. Okay. Right there. I think it's gonna go right there. Just in front of the cubby hole. Let's make it happen. Oh, ow! Yeah. All right, guys, now that's gonna be a wrap for this video where we made some half doors, cut into them, did the inner structure, got some cup holders, did some make it yourself or do it yourself straps for the handles. I think they turned out pretty good. They were some stretched out limit straps. It was kind of nice to repurpose those. Again, if you guys think I should use FJ mirrors instead that are a little bit more compact and a little bit, well, more Toyota, honestly, I think it might fit the vehicle better. If you like the Ford mirrors, let me know. If you guys have made half doors in the past for Toyotas and you have a good suggestion, drop me a comment with the link and I'll check it out. I really appreciate all the feedback from you guys lately. It's been very positive. I really appreciate it. The upcoming videos are going to be putting together the 600 Honda. The next video for the 4Runner will probably be going over the top, the bikini top, and we'll probably be doing some wheeling. It's about time for that. Now, here's some shots of the 4Runner here at our local park because I'm about to go and play some kickball. Have a great weekend, you guys. I hope you enjoy this video.